You've been at some of the camps, I guess. Tell us about the experience.
Well, a number. Say so actually. We've made a deliberate, in the last few months, effort to not necessarily go to the camps for different reasons. One, we've been to camps in places like Adamawa. I haven't been to camps in Borno. Went to a camp in Newman. It was a temporary camp. We've been to Gombe, Bauchi. This was in 2014. Since then, we focused very much on working with people like Rejoice, Hafsat, who are living in settlements, in host communities, basically. So they've either found their way outside of the camps. And also, truthfully, we have over the statistics range between 1.8 million and 2.1 million people displaced. Only 14% of those are in camps. Now, everybody goes to a camp because it's easy to find people there. But 86%, the majority of them are people like these two amazing, resilient women you've seen here who are living and just trying to survive in several places across Maiduguri. For example, in Maiduguri, we have a project where we're helping 60 women. We gave them some funds to start a business or to try and do something, 20,000 naira each. The same thing we have done that they're part of that program here in Lagos. But in Maiduguri, we deliberately pursued the policy of working with displaced people who are outside the camps. And the truth is, there's a lot of bureaucracy to get into the camps. In some of the camps in Borno, understandably for security reasons, before you get into the camp, you have to get clearance from either the DSS or, those, and it just takes too long. You have limited resources, and there are other people to help outside of the camp. So a lot of the time, we focus on, because help doesn't really come to them. I mean, for example, they're here in Lagos, they're not in a camp. Who's going to go there and say, oh, we're giving you food, we're giving you... They're actually living in a settlement with every other area boys. On our way here, we're just talking on the bus, and they were recounting how, people will mock them. They say, you people couldn't stay in your village. Boko Haram came and you ran. I mean, this is how people react, and sometimes, and, so it's a lot of work to be done even outside of the camps. The experiences, some camps are well run from what we saw. Some, I think, a lot of the NEMA officials, SEMA officials, they're doing a great job. In Gombe, for example, some of them we saw. Some of them even took some of the displaced people into their own homes. Their own family members were bringing food. So there are a lot of needs in and outside.
When we talk rehabilitation, is it just enough to give them money to start a business? So what are the things that entail rehabilitation?
The truth is that it's a whole spectrum. There's some conventions we've signed up to as the Nigerian people. We have guidelines for how to deal with IDPs. We have the particular one that guides Africa, the African Union, the Kampala Convention is called, the African Union Convention on dealing with internally displaced persons, and looks at the obligations that each government that has signed up to that has to displace people. One of them is rehabilitation. That whole staying in camps, and which is why also we don't really, that's just the first, food is just the basic. You can't continue all the time to give them food, and be handing out. What we've done is a very tiny piece. Again, it depends on funding and whatever. But there's a whole spectrum of things that one needs to do. One, there's also the trauma, the psychological, that needs to be happening. A lot of people, you've heard some of the things they've seen, they've experienced. I'm sure they're not even telling you 10% of what they've seen and experienced. And they've come here and they're having to make a living and trying to make a living themselves. And what you find is that, just dealing with the trauma, the psychological trauma. Hassan was telling me her daughter, how old is your daughter now? The one that's saying banga every time she hears it. No, sorry, it was Joyce. She had her 1.5-year-old. She's now 3. When they first came to Lagos, during Christmas, they heard the banga. The daughter would run to her, Mommy, they've come. Hassan said she's also afraid. We have children dealing with that trauma. That's not even being addressed at all.
So
that's
all
one
of this
aspect.
Rehabilitation.
Then there's shelter that needs to be done. There are different agencies that should be taking care of this. For now, I think NEMA seems to be very saddled with that, but NEMA's main responsibility, as we understand it, is actually that emergency intervention, relief, and go. So who is handling the rest? We're not too sure. Victim Support Fund, under the Presidential Committee for the Northeast Initiative, I think it's called, is handling some of that. But the work is so enormous. They have to go and rebuild those communities. You know, so there's some of the needs for shelter. That's a major one. They live in a settlement, one of those settlements that can be demolished by the government at any time. You know, with all these area boys. So security is an issue. The trauma is an issue. Livelihood support is an issue. Education for the children is an issue. So those are just some of the services that they need to actually be accessing, which right now we don't seem to have any concrete structure. A major issue also is a register for displaced persons.
What about...
We don't have it here.
What about what they want? Because it just occurred to me now to ask them.
Please.
Let me ask you, Hafsa. What do you want? Which you want?
Me. Now what I want, I want me my children go to school. Some finish secondary school. They don't get something to do. They won't go to school. I don't can't get anything.
Your children follow you?
My children follow me.
How many?
My children, when they finish secondary school, they'll be 5.
How many of all your children?
All my children are 7. Not 7.
Okay, so don't want to finish secondary school, 5.
5 don't finish. One day is just 2. Now one, you know, even go primary now because I don't get money I will put them for school. If they house my son small, I never put them for school.
Where's your husband?
My husband old. He there. Come together. He there. So my husband no work. Me I no work.
Okay, but if you find something to do, you would want to do it.
Yes, now.
So what would you, for instance, somebody wants to help you to get you to do something, what would you want that person to do?
Any something at least want to help me to do. I like it.
No, you should have an idea. Okay, I want to sell things. I want to...
Right now, what are you selling?
Okay, okay.
Right now you are doing
something. On sale. Promotion.
Okay.
For that money where we give you, what do they take do now?
Now, provision.
So they sell provision, but small.
Small.
Okay, Rejoice. What would you like?
What do you want?
What do you want?
What I want is that now things hard. My husband was working before, so now 3 months way past, the work stop. So anyway, when you go find work, the work no they pay him out. So if at least they can provide a job for my husband and me, if they can help me in anything, at least so that I will increase my market, because I used to fry groundnut, supply to shops, and now some of the shops, market no they even move. So before I was supplying groundnut like 5 shops, but now some shops have already closed because market no day for them. So I also need help in that. And my baby also, she's going to school, and the school that she's going before, we cannot be able to afford to pay her school fees. So now she's even staying at home. She's not even going to school again.
What about the people that are left behind? What do you think about them?
Before she answers our question, we'll take a moment and go on a quick break. We'll be back. Sure.